Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hi and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Shukri bin Ahmad Lokman. Matrix number 2020967857. So today for the subject Fiqh mua'sarah, I will be presenting on the topic of application of e-wallet. So first, let's take a look on a video for introduction of e-wallet.
Today, we'll help you understand electronic wallets. Financial transactions have become much easier and more convenient thanks to technology. We can now use electronic wallets for in-store and online transactions. An electronic wallet performs the same functions as traditional wallets. It stores forms of payments that can be used to pay for groceries, dining, online purchases, and more. Electronic wallets do not have a physical form. They are digital systems that can only be accessed with electronic devices such as a smartphone or computer. Electronic wallets can store a number of important cards, such as credit or debit cards, medical cards, gift cards, loyalty cards, driver's license, and more. You can obtain your own digital wallet by downloading any e-wallet software on your desktop or as an app on your smartphone.
Okay, for now, I think all of you have known what is e-wallet and how it works. So today, my presentation is focusing on the fatwa on the application of e-wallet and the ruling made by the Sharia Council of Bank Negara Malaysia. So first of all, let's take a look on the fatwa in application of e-wallet, which I had found was from the Perak State Fatwa Committee, which they imply the Muzakarah Committee of the National Assembly for the 117th Islamic Religious Affair, which they decided that the use of e-wallet is required to meet the specified parameters such as below. First is an e-wallet operator approved and regulated by the party authoritative only, which means any transaction that involve digital transactions must be done through an e-wallet operator that are approved and regulated by the authorities only. Next, understand the rights and their responsibility as contracting parties. This means the user and the operators must have the knowledge to use the e-wallet and understand their rights and responsibility as the contracting parties. And then Sharia advisory services from Sharia advisors, which is accredited. This means the operator or the e-wallet company is advised to seek for Sharia advice from a qualified Sharia advisor. Next, there should be no element of coercion. Clearly state the contract applicable and implications to consumers, and the e-wallet company should have the money return mechanism or refund when the user closes the account or when death occurs. This is because the money belongs to the customer or the customer heirs. And lastly, user must use Sharia compliance e-wallet. We take a look on the summary of operationalizations structure of e-money. So as we can see here, the first from the structure is the user, which a registered user will place a funds into the e-money account, which is the e-money issuer, which there, as we can see from the structure, is fund placement to the e-money issuer. And then the user conducts a transaction with the merchant, which means they either buying something from the merchants. Then the approved issuer, which is the e-money issuer, makes settlement to the merchant on behalf of the user. And lastly, the approved issuer imposes fees to the merchant based on the contractual agreement between the approved issuer and the merchant. Okay, next, we go to the e-money ruling by the Sharia Council or SAC of Bank Negara Malaysia. So the SAC ruling on e-money is based on the Section 52 of the Central Bank of Malaysia Act 2019, which is the functions of Sharia Advisory Council. So the ruling made is that e-money is permissible payment instrument under Sharia, which it is provided that the e-money has to be structured based on appropriate Sharia contracts. This is to preserve the rights and obligations of the contracting parties. Next, one of the applicable Sharia contracts is agency contract or wakalah. So as we can see from the structure before, which is the e-money issuer, is we can say that it is a middleman in the contract. So it is called the wakalah contract. Next, users' responsibility to ensure that the money is used for Sharia compliant transaction. So since the approved issuer acts as an agent, as we can say just now, it is a wakalah contract. So it is the user responsibility to ensure that the money is used for Sharia compliant transaction. So we must confirm and check that the e-wallet company is a Sharia compliant company. Okay, now we look into the e-wallet issues as a Sharia compliant. So first, what are the appropriate Sharia contracts between the contracting parties? Okay, for between the user and the approved issuer, to ascertaining the applicable Sharia contracts, so the SSC has considered that the approved issuer is allowed to issue the e-money as payment instrument and invest the fund placed in the trust account. And so based on the consideration, wakalah is the suitable Sharia contracts that appropriately governs the right and obligation of the contracting parties in an e-money transaction. And then between the approved issuer and the merchant. So for the transaction between the approved issuer and the merchant, the SSC has ruled that the contract of service with fee, which is ijarah al-khadamat, or the contract of incentive, ju'alah, may be the appropriate fiqh adaptation. Okay, number 2 is how approved issuer manage the funds by the user. So for the Sharia compliant e-money, the SSC has ruled that the approved issuer must place the funds received from the user in a Sharia compliant trust account or dedicated deposit account. And the approved issuer is also responsible to manage prudently the funds received from the user. And the approved issuer is allowed to invest the funds and subsequently utilizes the return construed as a loan or card from the user. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Muhammad Aiman bin Hisham. Okay, I will continue the presentation for my group members, Shukri. Okay, in my presentation, I will discuss about some issues and basis of rulings. Okay, go to the first slide. Okay, the issue is imminent presumption of qad jarat naf'an in the practice of reward offerings. Okay, what can be explained based on these issues is that about the rewards that we get in the use of e-wallets. So which they said in this context have an element of riba. Okay, we go to the next slide. Okay, the first point, offer rewards for various reasons such as upon subscription to their service, topping up of refill the balance or utilization of e-money or e-wallet to make payments to merchants. Okay, first of all, as we know, sometimes we get an offer from the e-wallet where it offers a bonus if we top up or refill. So as an example, let's see in one situation that we just only need to top up RM20 ringgit in our account in e-wallet and we will get RM5 ringgit as a bonus. So that there is an example relate to this issue. Okay, is the bonus or reward that we receive have the element of riba? Okay, we go back to the point in the second slide. I will highlight the sentence, various reasons such as upon subscription to their service. Okay, back to the point now. It states the reward that we receive is just a marketing strategy to attract customers to use their service. So there is no equal scale of element of riba. Okay, we go to the next point. The SAC rule that there is no issue of qad jarat naf'an in the practice of rewards offered by the approved issuer. So this point explained that there is no qad element in the context of e-wallet related to the bonus or reward earned. So before that, I will explain about the qad. So this qad was a money lending contract that provide benefits or interest. So as we know, this contract always used in the banking business for make some loans. So this is clearly wrong and haram in Islam. Okay, the next point, the rewards neither indeed nor target to reward the amount placed by the user, but rather indeed as a temporary marketing strategy to expand customer participation. So as I said just now, the bonus or reward obtained is not due to the value that we have top up. In fact, it's just a marketing strategy to attract more customers to use their service. So as I mentioned just now, there is no element or issue related to riba or card. Okay, we go to the next point. The practice uruf, which is renders the card contract as a supplementary contract. So this point states that according to uruf, there is a difference for the use of funds that takes place in the e-wallet as compared to the banking business, which, as we know, the banking business will use the card contract as the main contract for money, for the money lending process to provide benefit or interest, while in the reward offer from e-wallet does not use the card contracts as the main contract. So therefore, this is one of the reasons the context of this offer said to have no elements that contradict Sharia compliant. Okay, next slide is second issue is utilization of e-money to transact with non-Sharia compliant merchants. Alright, so for this issue, it's related to use the e-wallets against sellers who do not comply with Sharia. Okay, now we go to the next slide. Okay, the SAC deliberate this issue in the following context. Okay, the first one, e-money or e-wallet as a Sharia compliant payment instrument. The second one, approved issuer that wish to be a Sharia compliant approved issuer. So we go through one by one. Okay, the first one is the first point that I can explain. For any transactions involving Sharia non-compliant merchants, the status of e-wallet Sharia as a Sharia compliant payment instrument is not affected. This is because it is the same as the use of money physically or cash money, which is if we buy some illegal or prohibited things or make payment transaction to the companies who do not comply with Sharia, then the use of cash money is still allowed. So in this issue, it's the user's responsibility to ensure e-money is being utilized for Sharia compliant transaction. Okay, the second point, approved issuer that wish to be a Sharia compliant approved issuer. So approved issuer is stand for a company of e-wallet. Okay, so this point I explained about no transaction with Sharia non-compliant merchants. However, the SAC rule that in exceptional case as determined by the qualified Sharia advisor of an approved issuer, such approved issuer shall observe conditions specified by the qualified Sharia advisor. So if there is an e-wallet company that invests money to the company that does not comply with Sharia, so we as Muslims are prohibited to join it. Let's say, like an example, the investment product by Touch and Go Go Plus before August 2021, like that. So the product is illegal for Muslims to participate in because the returns offered are generated by the principal e-cash instrument, which is as non-Sharia compliant fund. Okay, now we go to the next slide. Basis of ruling, permissibility to embrace technological advance as means. Okay, technological advancement has paved the way for digital development to enable seamless and efficient way to do the commercial transactions. So in this regard, Majma' Fiqh al-Islami allows commercial transaction to be concluded through modern communication tools or device given the technology. As mean of transaction is natural and is permissible to use, easy for us to use it. So this is because it is in line with the following fiqh legal maxim. Okay, al-aslu as-sihha, the first legal maxim, the meaning is the original state of thing is permissible. Okay, we go to the second fiqh legal maxim. The meaning is the original rule in muamalat is permissibility unless there is an indication that prohibits it. Okay, for this legal maxim is associated with the situation. So the collective use of Sharia contracts is intended to fulfill the intention and the needs of the contracting parties as well as to properly reflect the actual operating mechanism of a particular product. So the collective use of the Sharia contracts is deemed as an nominate contract in the classical text. This means uqud wa musamma. So that promotes innovation in Islamic finance. So whatever issues arise in the context of the use of e-wallet have been studied and resolved in parallel according to the Fiqh legal maxim. Alright, that's all from me.
My name is Akram Hakimi bin Maslan. Number matric is 2020991043. So, for today, me and my partner will present about the fiat money.
What is fiat money? Fiat money, or fiat currency, is any money that the government declares as legal tender. In other words, the money must be accepted if offered in payment. Fiat money is not backed by a physical commodity such as gold or silver. The image on the left shows a $10 bill. This is an example of fiat money. The $10 bill is worth $10 because the US government says so. Fiat money has no intrinsic value. The paper of a $10 bill is virtually worthless. Ultimately, market forces determine the value of fiat money. In other words, the forces of demand and supply determine its worth. So to recap, fiat money's value comes from government decree, an official order that has the force of law, and then its value is influenced by market forces, which are supply and demand. According to the Oxford Living Dictionaries, a fiat is a formal authorization or proposition, a decree. All national currencies today that are in circulation and that central banks issue and manage are fiat currencies. Examples of fiat currencies include the US dollar, the euro, and the pound sterling.
Okay, now we go to the current issue. The current issue is about halal goods that are not tayyib. Okay, for the first point, can I summarize in this matter? The majority of the scholars agree that the use of fiat money is must mean the law is harus because it's due to the Sharia compliance with the central bank being given absolute authority to issue money owned by the government legally elected by the people. In addition, to replace the weakness of the barter system, that many elements of corruption, injustice, not standardized, dishonesty, and accommodation. And the second point is there are also scholars who do not agree because they do not comply with Sharia. This is because it involves the creation of purchasing power just like that. This is also disputed as having a negative impact on the economy, such as the problem of inflation, unfair distribution, poverty, operation, and unemployment. From the point of view of the implication of its long-term use, fiat money still has problem and has many negative impact on the economy as opposed to good. Okay, from the scholars is do not agree with the fiat money. This can be proven based on the evidence of the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah 290. It means they ask the considering why and gambling in term is great sin and some profit for men, but the sin is greater than the profit. And also in Surah Al-Baqarah 231, this means is either take them back on the equality term or set them free on equitable terms, but do not take them back to injury them. So from the in Surah Al-Baqarah, just with various negative problem that still exists, then the level of the profit of money is highly questionable even though it is halal. Okay, next we go to the cost of halal, those which are not tayyib. So it has 5. Number 1 is not intrinsic value. Okay, intrinsic value means that the currency have a backup that is valuable as an exchange tool. Okay, number 2 is has speculation and manipulation. Okay, speculation is the international bearing of exchange risk with the intention of making a profit, while manipulation is the action of investor who move the price, volume, or interest in the security for the purpose of attracting another investor to invest in the security. Number 3 is has gharar, refer to a curtain inherent in the market, such as goods whose existence is uncertain in the market, unclear price, price fraud, and sales material fraud. Number 4 is halal exploitation, and number 5 is money supply elastic. Okay, next we go to how to solve this problem. So, based on the said Mawardi, that is every action that cause not to reach the end goal, then the action is void. So there are various changes taking place in ensuring that is always in the line with current need. The result of the obsession of fuqaha through the ijtihad is made based on Islamic texts or previous of current case. Then certain law are prescribed. Next, based on the second point, aspect of the changing time that also changes. The law should be refined in the context of the current use of the currency. Therefore, we have to follow the passages of time to determine law. Okay, the third is based on the third point, previous view. We have to look the previous view because it is possible that such view are only operation for the times condition of the time. If applied today, it is no longer suitable to change the have never been true or occurred by previous generation. With the various negative consequences resulting from the use of the current currency, the question of existing law now needs to be refined. So, it can be concluded that the mandatory status of the current fiat currency system that replaced the barter system at some point in time deserve to be refined. This is because in the earlier stage, the system is clearly better and more economical compared to the barter system, as well as the financial system itself have no determined shortcoming. Yet, with current development and evidence of global financial problem, its law of necessity based on maslahah in the past will change according to the current situation, and the situation of the necessity cannot continue. So, it can be concluded that the mandatory status of the current fiat currency system that replaced the barter system at some point in time deserve to be refined. This is because in the earlier stage, the system is clearly better and more economical compared to the barter system, as well as the financial system itself have no determined shortcoming. Yet, with current development and evidence of global financial problem, its law of necessity based on maslahah in the past will change according to the current situation, and the situation of the necessity cannot continue.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Khairuzaman bin Muhammad Sakri, and I will continue the presentation from my friends in the topic e-wallet and fiat money, and I will continue the presentations in the subtopic the fiat money, the issues in the fiat money. First, in my opinion, the fiat money is a non-long-lasting material, which is the material of the fiat money is easily to be destroyed, such as the fiat money today in Malaysian ringgit is made from the plastic that can be burned easily and easily to be torn and to get destroyed. It also will be dropped the value if any part of the money there's a ball pen ink on it. Different with the gold and the silver that have been used a long time ago. The gold and the silver is hard to be burned and melt, which is it's relevant, and the material is long time material. Okay. The second point is the fiat money can't be used at different place, which is the fiat money is inflexible, bound with place and time. Such as, in example, if we have a cash in Thailand baht, we can't use it in Malaysia or any other country except the Thailand. Okay. If we a difference with the gold and the silver, which is can be used anywhere, and the value doesn't drop. Maybe there's a difference, but less than the fiat money, which is as we can see today, the $1 America seems like 4 ringgit in Malaysia. If we go to America with the cash for ringgit value. When we change it to the United States dollar, we only get $1, and which is there's difference a lot in the value, as we can see. Also, if we want to use in the market, example, there's money, the fiat money from 50 or 100 years ago can't be used in the market by any transactions in today. And the argument from the Quran and Hadith sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as we can see in Surah Al-Kahfi, there's 7 young people sleep in the cave until a few hundred years. They wake up and realize when they want to do a transactions at the market, when they give me up, they are good to the seller, and the people in that time realized that they were from the past time. Also in Surah Al Imran, Surah Yusuf, verse 20, Surah At-Tawbah 34 and 35, Surah Al-Kahfi, verse 19. In the Quran, as we can see, a lot of verse in the Quran which is say the most valuable and can be proven it is value and it is acceptable all of the human being just gold and the silver. But there's a lot of opinion among the scholars, which is there's 3 of them. One says it was mubah, should use the other object and put it a value as the money. That also can be used as the uruf of the people on the next day. But there's the scholars says the government should make their own. The government should make their own money, or the objects can be proven as the money can be used in the days of the transactions. There's a scholar says it no need to use other object as the money, because the money is the value is exchange. Does change a lot. The value in the monies maybe every day it's drop and get high. Okay, there's lot. Lastly, there's a lot of pros and contrasts between in issues of the fiat money nowadays that can be discussed in a long discussions, which is example as the point stated above, the fiat money. There's objection of use it. When we use it, there's objection a lot. If we take the fiat money, we can't use it everywhere as the money and can't be acceptable. But the pros of the fiat money is fiat money easily to be kept in the bank and easily to bring with people, such as they put it in their wallet and in their pocket, and easily to doing other transactions such as the bank transactions and other things that's needed in their life. Okay, that's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.